I'm gonna listen. I am going to lay out the Optic issue like front and center here. This is their biggest problem. Long tail, 40 foot, 40-yard kind of view on the situation, 400 feet, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Like pure, just macro. Just look at it from this angle. Since the dynasty broke up, they have lost all the tools and how do I phrase this correctly? Hold on. I want to be very careful about how I say this. I think the dynasty team were championship players and had a championship mindset. And then once that team broke up, I don't think that they have put together consistently a team of 4 players that have that same championship leadership and mindset. Does that make sense, chat? Like, I will get more specific. Like, every year, the 2 teams that grind generally the most and practice the best are FaZe and Toronto. The 2 most consistent teams the last 3 years have been FaZe and Toronto. LA Thieves, when they were good, were also in that conversation. Optic is super up and down because when they do go hard and they do practice well, you saw last year they play really well. But then on years where they don't take it seriously, when they don't take their practice seriously, then they are super inconsistent. And I feel like that is a problem they just never been able to fucking solve since the dynasty broke up. Since like middle of World War II. This has literally been a problem since middle of World War II. And you're going to say, Ben, well, they've won a couple events since then. They won the first event in Black Ops 4, and yeah, it was typical. But they fell off after that. And I think Vanguard, they had a very good chance. If Ender's hand injury didn't fucking happen, they had a chance to continue that early momentum they had that year. Here's the problem is I agree with you. It is early dead, but it's a warning sign because at the end of the day, it seems like to me they're behind and they're going to need to put in a lot of work to catch up. I think FaZe and Toronto are so much further ahead of them right now. Doesn't mean that necessarily Optic can't beat them in a one-off matchup, because it's still COD, it's still day-to-day. But as far as like purely being ahead, I mean, those 2 teams just seem so far ahead. I hate that argument with Carbine because I think Toronto and FaZe players are also making a lot of money. It ain't about the money. It's like you can't put the money aside for a second. Everybody wants to be MJ, but nobody wants to work as hard as MJ. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be LeBron and live LeBron's lifestyle and drink rosé in their fucking driveway, but nobody wants to fucking practice all day like LeBron does and work in the fucking gym. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason those guys are the best basketball players of all time, LeBron and MJ, because they also worked fucking hard to get there. And I feel like at times with Optic, yeah, it's a meme. World Core is a meme. I feel like at times Optic guys, like they want to champagne and campaign like they're championship players, but like they don't put in the championship work to be championship players. That's exactly what it is, Rosie. And I'm sure that they have pushed back on like what I said, which is fine. But like nothing I've seen from them this year with like the full slate of stuff makes me think that like they are doing everything in their power to win. Like there's no way you could sit there with a straight face and say that team has done everything this year that they can possibly and humanly do to win. Whoa, you say that, but the game came out in November and it's the middle of January. We are 2.5 months into the season. This is November. If this is December, it's a different conversation. There's 4 majors this year. You troll the beginning of the season is not as easy to come. Like, you know what I'm saying? You lose. You're losing a fucking big advantage. Not saying they can't overcome it because they can. They're good enough. Their team is good enough to win events. Not saying that either. They definitely, to your point, Dad, made 2 changes. Right? They brought in a player in AG, and we talked about it yesterday. He's got a certain play style, and they're ants having to adapt the way that he plays to AG adapting. That's a big change. But you would think with all of that they would try and be the team that practiced the most, and it doesn't seem like that's the case this year so far. That's what I'm saying. Like that's to me that is the biggest thing they can work on.